The three top priority fires for resources in the nation are prompting several evacuation warnings and orders across Siskiyou County. We're tracking several fires as they continue to grow with a red flag warning in place for parts of southern Oregon and northern California. Thank you for joining us on Newswatch 12 at 6. I'm Oscar Rodriguez. We'll take a closer look at those fire specifics in just a moment, but first let's turn over to our Storm Tracker 12 Chief Meteorologist. Matt, what can you tell us about these evacuations and the red flag warning?
Yeah, just an update today on the Dillon fire. That we did get some changes in evacuations. Here's a closer look. We did see one of the zones split. One became an evacuation order and the other a warning. It's zone SIS 1509D became an evacuation warning, and the evacuation order remains in place for zone SIS 1509B. We also saw the evacuation warning for zone SIS 1604 downgraded to normal status. So some good news there. No changes on the blue fire evacuations today or the root fire evacuations. You can get a closer look at these evacuation maps, how to find your zone, and all the latest details on these fires on KDRV.com, and be sure to download our Newswatch 12 app for updates on evacuation. So we have critical fire weather conditions in place. Cascades and Siskiyou's, the east side and down into Siskiyou County under red flag warnings for the Cascades and the east side. These will continue right through tomorrow as we'll get some more thunderstorm development tomorrow afternoon. Taking a live look out there right now across the region. We're seeing some hotter temperatures today. Right now lower to middle 90s in our west side valleys, near 90 in Klamath Falls. Comfortable along the coast though, 61 degrees in Gold Beach. Here's a look at the satellite and radar imagery. We've had some thunderstorms popping up mainly east of Lakeview, but keeping an eye on a batch of storms that's right now running up over the Sierra Nevada. This is all working its way off to the north and west, so we'll have to see if this can usher in some more development as we move into this evening and tonight. Thunderstorm chances will continue through the overnight hours. May even see a thunderstorm in the Rogue Valley. We'll be watching that closely. Notice the warmer temperatures tonight, mid to upper 60s for low temperatures in our west side valleys of southern Oregon. Now tomorrow, the threat for thunderstorms continue, but we're going to be mainly watching along and east of the Cascades into the afternoon. More hot weather. We'll have a shot at hitting 100 degrees or so tomorrow in Medford and Grants Pass. I'll take a closer look at your forecast for Wednesday. We'll also time out thunderstorm chances through the rest of the week coming up in just a bit. Oscar?
Thank you, Matt. We're tracking several fires around our region as we brace for possible new fire starts. With hotter and drier conditions, local agencies are urging everyone to be extra fire cautious. And we're continuing to track the blue fire after evacuation orders were issued for all of Sayad Valley last night. Additional structured defense has been deployed with firefighters clearing vegetation, hose lays, and portable sprinkler systems. We spoke to the Siskiyou County Sheriff's Office last night, who's urging everyone in an evacuation order to leave immediately. Highway 96 continues to be impacted, and drivers are encouraged to find alternate routes. A virtual community meeting about the blue fire is being held right now on the Klamath National Forest Facebook page. That community meeting will also include details about the Dillon fire, which now has grown to more than 7,700 acres. Resources are continuing to arrive daily, and firefighters say they're working to both suppress the fire to protect natural and cultural resources. Siskiyou County Office of Emergency Services released a list of evacuation shelter information for those who have been displaced due to the Blue and Dillon fire. Emergency Services wants to tell everyone to call the shelters prior to bringing your animals. With the Root, Blue, and Dillon fires being the top 3 resource priority in the country, it is important for those in the area to stay vigilant and ready to evacuate if necessary. Newswatch 12 Grace Ritz tell us on what you may need to have ready.
Multiple fires burning in and around our region, it's important for everyone to know the steps to take to prepare for possible evacuations.
If you or your home could be affected by wildfire evacuations, it's important to always be ready. This means having 3 gallons of water and 3 days worth of essentials packed in a go bag and stored in your trunk so that you can leave at a moment's notice.
Think about the things that you don't want to worry about if the county says evacuate now and you haven't thought of it. It's really hard to make those decisions in a pinch when you're stressed out and you have to leave.
Have essentials like medications, important paperwork, phone chargers, and food in an easy, ready-to-grab location. Fire crews also ask that you leave your house locked, but keep a gate to your yard unlocked.
Bring like 3 days worth of things that you need to a shelter or wherever you're going, whether that's important papers, your chargers, medication, that kind of thing.
If you're under an evacuation order for Northern California or a level 3 evacuation in Oregon, you must evacuate immediately.
We don't issue these orders lightly. We try to get those orders and warnings out as quick as we can because minutes count. We're hopeful to see people adhere to the orders just to protect their lives.
To stay up to date on evacuation orders and to find your zone, use Genesis Protect. Reporting in Medford, I'm Grace Ritz.
Now taking a look at that roof fire, law enforcement has determined the nearly 670-acre fire was caused by an escaped campfire. Take a look at that smoke from the roof fire. It's burning in the Shasta Trinity National Forest and is prompting evacuation warnings in Siskiyou County. Both residents and visitors are being urged to be extra cautious in the fire area and are reminded to take measures to prevent wildfires. We're also tracking the log fire in the Klamath National Forest, which has now a forest closure in the Marble Mountain Wilderness. The fire is estimated to be at 500 acres in a remote area with steep terrain. Fire suppression efforts on the Dillon, Blue, and Root fires have left the log fire with limited resources. However, firefighters specialized in responding to remote fires have been called in and will be available tomorrow. We're continuing to track the September special session as RVTD begins operating their new bus schedule today. 10 routes are now suspended, leaving just 6 total routes. There will also be no service on Saturdays, and operating hours will be reduced to 6 in the morning to 6:30 p.m. The transportation bill passed in the House and is now in Senate, with a vote be delayed till the 17th. The City of Grants Pass held a council workshop today to go over the cancellation of its homelessness grant application. The city's canceling its Addressing Homelessness Grant program after its applicant, the Geodomestic Organization, withdrew its application due to misunderstanding about established partnerships. Now the City Council is preparing to cut the entire grant process. Councilors announced a new and revised program during the workshop, which includes a new references section to the application.
By 3 references that can provide information regarding the applicant's success in providing services to homeless individuals, ideally including a local government entity and at least 1 partner service provider.
Besides the reference selection process, the city will also revise the selection process in choosing the winner of the grant. We're learning that the on-track Rogue Valley will now be continuing behavioral health and recovery services. Executive Director Sommer Walcott says the new name reflects a diverse approach to recovery. Highlighting multiple pathways and individualized supports, Continuum offers a range of services including mental health, substance use treatment, and various housing options for participants in Southern Oregon. Access is calling for community support to help fight childhood hunger in Jackson County. Access is leading a campaign to provide weekend meals to children in need through their Rogue Power Back program. Last year, the program served 827 children across 30 schools, providing 120,000 meals. This year, they aim to reach 182 children. Access Food Programs Director Dana Daniels says the community support is essential. Donations can be made online or at Sherman's Markets, where shoppers can be purchased food bags or donate funds at the register. September is Suicide Prevention Month, and advocates in the Southwest Oregon says more families are reaching out for help. A Medford nonprofit is working to make sure no one faces mental health crisis alone. NAMI Southern Oregon offers free support groups, classes, and resources for people living with mental health conditions and their loved ones.
But if you have a mental health condition, and then occasionally you're aberrant in your behavior, people see a healthy human being, but there's something wrong with them. And what do they have a tendency? You think they're going to bring you something to eat for dinner that night? Or they're going to help you out and feed you or do something of that nature? They're not going to do that. They want to stay away from you.
For more information on classes and support groups, visit the NAMI Southern Oregon website. The U.S. Coast Guard is suspending the search for 2 men who went missing after the boat capsized for 4 miles off the Gold Beach coast. The Coast Guard says the 2 men were aboard motorized a catamaran that capsized Sunday night. A 3rd person on the boat was rescued and transported by a nearby boat. Crews from Gold Beach, North Bend, and Humboldt searched more than 75 square nautical miles, but were unable to locate the missing men. And a New York Times bestselling author is returning to his hometown for a special book signing tonight at one of Ashland's most beloved bookstores. Bloomsbury Books hosts weekly author events from signings to book groups to silent reading hours. But tonight's event is especially meaningful. Nathan Harris, a nationally recognized and award-winning author, chose Bloomsbury for his latest book launch to sign books and answer questions.
Are very honored to have Nathan Harris launch his book here in Ashland. It's his hometown. Probably could have launched his book Amity anywhere he wanted, and he chose to come home.
The event is free and open to the public, and it starts at 7 p.m. tonight. And as schools begin, for several more schools in our area begin today, local police are stepping up and patrols and cracking down on speed. This month, Eagle Point Police will have extra officers on the road focusing on speeding in school zones. This comes as speeding as a factor of thousands of fatalities in recent years. Police encourage all drivers to pay extra attention to the roads and slow down in school zones. And looking ahead to the end of September, Highway 101 will be closed between Bandon and Port Orford for one weekend as crews replace a culvert under the highway. The highway will be closed about 6 miles south of Bandon at Bearhead Mountain Lane. There are no local road connections around the work zone, so drivers will have to take Redwood Highway, Interstate 5, and the Coos Bay Roseburg Highway around the closure. The closure will be placed beginning Friday night on September 19th and will end Sunday night on the 21st. And looking ahead to September 11th, Rural Metro Fire is inviting all first responders to participate in an hour-long walk around to remember the events of 9/11. The first responders, including fire, law enforcement, dispatchers, medical professionals, and military members, are invited to come in uniform and walk the track or observe. The event will begin at 9 a.m. at Reinhardt Volunteer Park on September 11th.